try this today, and I apologize, it's going to be like a 5-minute lecture, maybe 10-minute lecture, but I'm not going to be able to make much eye contact, because I read this thing that says that if you look around the room at all your students while you're being taped, then it looks like you're terrified, because you keep going like, who's that? And you know, they don't see what's going on, so it just looks like you're real shifty and not very trustworthy. So I'm going to look this way most of the time. But then we'll kind of talk and all that. But I want to give you a basic, okay, welcome to English 202. We're beginning the semester with satire, a couple of satires. One by Jonathan Swift, well actually two by Jonathan Swift, and those are both the first readings. You'll read a section of Gulliver's Travels on the Houyhnhnms, and you'll read A Modest Proposal. And for next class, you should have completed A Modest Proposal, most definitely. Also, after that, we'll have a class period on Alexander Pope. Next Wednesday, we'll be talking about Alexander Pope's The Rape of the Lock. And so you need to be ready to discuss that on Wednesday, which is a little bit out of sequence for your syllabus. But we've got a guest speaker coming to speak on Wednesday about Pope's The Rape of the Lock. Both authors, Alexander Pope and Jonathan Swift, are writing satires. So let me give you a definition of satire, and you need to write this down because these are your official notes for satire. Okay. First of all, I'm taking this from the Pullman Handbook, and I'll give you that reference here. The author is H-O-L-M-A-N, first name Q, okay. And it's from a handbook to literature. If you are planning to major in English, or study English in depth, I recommend getting this handbook. I really do. It may be now the Holman and Harmon Handbook. This one was published in 1978. There are lots of different editions, and it doesn't matter if you get an old used one. But the book has a lot of basic definitions and tells you about different kinds of meter, tells you about different kinds of literature, defines romanticism, realism, all the different kinds of literature and poetry that you would be studying. Okay, first of all, satire is a literary manner. A literary manner. Let me write satire again. A literary manner which blends a critical attitude with humor and wit to the end in this case being purpose or goal, to the end that human institutions or humanity may be improved. So, it's a literary manner which blends a critical attitude with humor and wit to the end that human institutions or humanity may be improved. Okay, what we'll be reading first is Swift's A Modest Proposal. Has anybody read Swift's A Modest Proposal before in here? You can raise your hand. They won't see you raising your hand on the video, but that's okay. Who has? Okay, A Modest Proposal. And what is A Modest Proposal about? Don't remember?
I'm sorry.
What does he propose to do?
I know he says something about eating babies.
Yes.
Yes, you did do that.
We're starting off the semester with a story about eating babies.
All
I'm
right.
not kidding. Ah. Okay, so, but he is kidding, and I want to tell you that before you read it. You need to know this before you actually read a modest proposal, because otherwise I have had students to go, this is terrible. He's kidding, okay? He is kidding. He's not serious. He's actually blending humor and wit with a critical attitude. He's dealing with poverty in Ireland and the problems of poverty in Ireland. But he goes, his writing is so outrageous that he's trying to be outrageous and extreme so that people will say, oh, this is actually what we're doing when we treat people this way. We're actually killing children or eating babies because we're taking the food out of their mouths by living the way that we live. So I wanted to tell you that before you read it. Okay, so that's Swift's A Modest Proposal. Then we'll also read the Wenham section of Gulliver's Travels. That's also by Swift. And I can tell you where those are. Okay, Swift starts on page 430 in your anthology. The selection from Gulliver's Travels comes first, but we will talk about A Modest Proposal first. So you don't need to read, it's the Wenham section starts on 433, and then A Modest Proposal starts on 483 in your anthology. So you'll start on page 483 with A Modest Proposal. What I want you to watch for as you read A Modest Proposal, I mean, of course, look at the crazy suggestions that he's making, and then on page 488, you will find some italicized passages. These are actually the things that he is suggesting. He makes serious suggestions at the end. So you want to pay attention to what his serious suggestions are on 488. Then we will go back and talk about the Wenhams. And actually, I'm just thinking this is a really good class to have a tape for, because the words are kind of weird in Gulliver's Travels. They're called Wenhams because they're supposed to sound like, it's supposed to sound like whinny, you know, like a horse, because the Wenhams look like horses, but they actually are more rational. And then the people are called Yahoos because they're crazy. So the characters that look like people are Yahoos. Okay. So that's kind of our beginning introduction. I want you then to think about two different kinds of satire also. The two kinds of satire that we're going to be talking about with Pope and Swift are, we have Juvenalian and we have Horatian. And as you read Swift and Pope, I want you to think about which one Swift is and which one Pope is which one is Juvenalian, which one is Horatian. Juvenalian tends to be biting and angry. Horatian tends to be gentle, smiling, laughing at humanity, okay? So you've got two kinds of satire, two tones. One is, you can tell that the person is angry or that they have kind of this biting attitude toward humanity. Horatian, though, is gentle, it's more smiling, and it's kind of laughing at society, it's more lighthearted. So think about which one you think each one is.